Hello, welcome back to Just Another Football Podcast. Oh, it feels good. We're back for the first time in a couple weeks. Last time we recorded, it was just after Thanksgiving, just after the US-England game in the group stage. And the last time Harry and George have been together, and both of them are with me today. Fergal might be coming on. But this is the first time you've recorded since September together.
Since September, yeah. This is a monumentous moment.
It's mental. And at the time, George was talking about Chelsea's chances of winning the Premier League. And then we've been
that's
talking...
even more recent.
Yeah.
That's even more recent. It's been longer than that. It's been, I know. A lot's happened since. But I think the only part of your intro I take issue with there, Ali, is that it feels good. It doesn't quite feel good because since we last podcasted, we're both out the tournament. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a lot to sift through here today. It
is true. How are you boys? How have you been? How's
not bad. I've been enjoying the World Cup, obviously.
Until yesterday.
Since until yesterday. I mean, obviously we last recorded match day 2, and then there was all the drama of match day 3, which was just fantastic, and all the chaos of all the permutations in the different groups. And then, I mean, it just goes quickly, doesn't it? I mean, you look at the start of the week and you've got, obviously, Brazil and Portugal and England winning heavily, and now all of them are out of the tournament. And, you're down to the last 4 teams, only 3 games left. So, 4, including that stupid third-place playoff game, which no one cares about.
You know what? We'll get to the third-place playoff game. If Morocco play in it, it will mean so much to them if they get third place. Not even joking. I speak from experience because
this isn't the Olympics, mate. You don't
I
get
know,
a medal for it.
I know. No, you get a bronze medal. And do you remember the old format Club World Cup that had 7 teams? So back in 2006, do you not remember the Club World Cup?
Bit before the club,
the Club World Cup that used to have 7 teams, and we don't know if it's gonna happen again or not. So in 2006, Ali, who I watched religiously when I was younger, played in the Club World Cup in 2006 and got bronze, and that was the biggest achievement of their history. Even though they'd won the African Champions League that year and the year before, and then 4 other times at the time. Now they've won it 5 more times since or whatever. But a bronze, a third place at the World Up would mean so much for a North African nation. But we'll get to Morocco later. Really sorry, guys, about not being on the podcast since match day 2. All of us have had it's the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup. The World Cup's timing has been bad. It was in the middle of finals and heavier than usual work schedule for the boys, and
busy time of year for everyone, mate.
Yeah, it has been. So let's get to it then. I think we should, since the two of you are here and Fergal isn't.
Let's do it while he's not here.
Let's do it while he's not here. Let's address the elephant in the room. Germany.
Germany. I mean, they're out as well.
They're out since the group stage. England losing to France very narrowly, 2-1 yesterday, and crashing out of the World Cup earlier than probably you would have expected, ? Given, the Euros performance, 4th place in 2018. Yeah. Do you feel good about the performances? Because all your wins have been convincing. But yesterday you went toe-to-toe with the champions and one of the favorites. Alongside England, which I thought would be one of the favorites. And then Harry Kane scores the penalty, they blast over the bar. It's a completely different story. The referee gives the decision England's way in their first goal. It's a different story. Yeah. Do you feel good about this? Do you take any positives from it? Or do you regard this as just a failure?
I think, and I'll let George answer as well, I think the difficulty with tournament football is it's very fickle and can depend on who you play against and the way the draw falls and ultimately who you play against and how they play on the day. I feel like in this World Cup we played better than at the Euros and at the previous World Cup. and yet we've gone out of this tournament earlier. And we've gone out of this tournament earlier because we've played a far better team in an earlier round. And simply put, it's difficult to say that it was unexpected because obviously we've known the draw since, I think it was April they did the draw. And obviously we knew that if everything went as expected, and we all predicted this a few weeks ago, that we would win our group, France would win their group, and we both probably would meet in the quarterfinals. And it's just one of those games. It's difficult to, England could have won it, and it wouldn't have been a massive surprise. But it's also difficult to say it's a surprise that they've lost it. As you said, they've lost to the reigning world champions in a narrowly fought contest. So, we can sort of pick the bones of it, but it's kind of just what I expected really going into the tournament was, and I think we've actually played better in the games leading up to the France game than I probably thought we would. So, yeah, mixed emotions. I think for the first time, I'm actually sort of disappointed that we've lost a game rather than kind of angry or frustrated, because in previous tournaments, I've looked at some of the games we've lost, so whether it be the Euros final or the Croatia semi-final, obviously the debacle with Iceland, if you're sort of going back even further, and there's a lot of issues you can take with those individual performances and the way those games unfolded. But the one last night, I think if you play that same game, say another 10 times, I don't think you lose it more than a couple. I think that's where it's quite difficult to take, is there wasn't a lot that was wrong with the overall performance. And, the first goal is kind of out of nothing. As you said, there's contentious foul or contentious call in the build-up.
No, it's a foul.
And the second... it is a foul, yeah. I mean, there's nothing contentious about it. It's a foul. And it's a great strike from 30 yards. And, you could say that they could get out to him. But, yeah, I mean, I'll let George answer because I've sort of gone on a while there. But mixed emotions, I think, is kind of my overall takeaway from it all.
George?
Yeah, it also goes into that narrative of, England facing the first tough team and getting knocked out again. And obviously that goes into the Southgate debate. Can he really compete with top managers in top games? It's more disappointing because it felt like we deserved to go through. Watching the game, I think we were the better team, not just toe to toe. I think we were just
definitely deserved extra time, minimum.
Yeah, at least we controlled the tempo, we controlled the game. France were very smart with their fouls, but the referee was equally pretty poor and lenient. Not to blame it on all on the referee. I think obviously we didn't create enough chances. I don't think there was many clear-cut chances apart from obviously 2 penalties, which you'd hope you'd score both. Yeah, it's just really disappointing. And then if you look past this game, and certainly no disrespect to Morocco, but it's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah,
of arguably, a World Cup where Argentina don't look the best, Croatia, again scraping through games.
They're not the side of 2018.
No,
I would say that with the 2018 side. They've done well. They beat Brazil. But
they should have been. Again, obviously, but taking Brazil to penalties, if they bring England to penalties, would probably go out. To be fair, But yeah, it's just really disappointing.
Do you know what it feels like, sort of looking back? And it's funny because France were in the similar fixture. It feels like the 2018 World Cup when France played Belgium in the semi-final, and it was pretty clear that the winner of the tournament would come from that game. In my mind, anyway, and indeed it did. They beat Croatia in the final. Now, it remains to be seen if France, and I know it's come around earlier, and it obviously remains to be seen if they go on to win the tournament. But when you look at the quality of those two teams, and you look at, as George said, with no disrespect to the other three teams left, and they all kind of have their own individual qualities, it did feel a bit like a final. It felt like a massive opportunity where the team that wins that game then goes into a semi-final against Morocco. And then if you get to a final, and you said to me pre-tournament, you'll play Argentina or Croatia. And Argentina, in my mind, have kind of ended up being worse than I thought they would be in terms of performances, even though they're obviously in the semi-final. Yeah, there was an opportunity there. And it just kind of depends what side you come down on it all with. Do you sort of factor in past performances, including under Southgate, and obviously going back further, the fact that we just don't seem to win any of these big knockout games? Or are you kind of the opinion that it really was a game that could have gone either way and it just didn't? And, there's sort of various reasons for that.
It's massively a game that could have gone either way. Unfortunately, I do think the referees' attitude in general had a massive part to play in the momentum going France's way at a lot of points. Just severe inconsistencies. But I did have a slight problem with the tactics. It worked, this plan of stopping Mbappe undeniably worked, right? But then the consequence of that is that you didn't have enough presence in the middle. If you look at the pass map, it's that dreaded horseshoe. It's going side to side to side. Very little activity down the middle. And you did create chances and you won 2 penalties, sure. The problem after that is you found a solution to that with Saka drifting in. I remember when we were talking on Discord, and then you said pass the ball to Saka on the turn, and then he had just received the ball in that number 10 spot and turned and we're in your business. Yeah. So that was the solution, and then 5 or 10 minutes after, he was subbed off for Sterling, who stayed on the wing. So you'd found you'd found a way to create chances, and then you kind of changed your mind, which I don't get necessarily. Saka was the best player on the pitch, I thought.
Yeah, he was a threat for England. So by the sounds of it, because it confused me as a sub as well. But the sounds of it from journalists that were in the ground, though the 2 subs, Sterling and who was the other player that came on? Sterling and Mount. They were already stripped and ready to come on before that goal went in. So the goal goes in, and obviously then they come on. So it's just a kind of a stubbornness. I don't know if you could change at that point and maybe leave Saka on and
if it's submitted,
take a midfielder off.
Probably not, but I don't know.
I think that the intention was just to go for the game's at 1-1. At that time they were intending to make the sub. It's sort of finely balanced, and I get it, but at the same time, as you said, he was offering a threat. That in my mind, he could have got both on there. You could have had Sterling and Saka. And even if you're taking a winger off, I think probably Foden should have come off before Saka. As good as he is, I don't think he was in the game as much.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the only criticism. Maybe is his subs maybe left it a little bit too long and maybe weren't the right ones. But it's difficult in a game like that where it's cagey and where it's sort of on a knife edge. It's tough because if you do it sort of too soon and it backfires, then you can get criticism. And sort of if you leave it too late and then obviously they score and end up winning the game, then you're going to get criticism that way. So it is a tough one. But I agree, the space was in the middle, and I think they were happy to sort of play that game because they knew we had threat on the wing and they knew we'd be absolutely obsessed with stopping their wingers. So we weren't going to bomb our centre midfielders kind of on high up the pitch. And even when we did, Henderson was sort of playing as a right winger with his sort of positions he was taking up.
Yeah,
I think sort of with half a thought of if the ball gets turned over, then you want to stop it getting played into Mbappe straight away. So yeah, there was space in the middle. I think their centre backs and Hernandez as well were dodgy all night, and I think that's sort of, I would regret not taking advantage of that, because whenever they were asked to defend, whether it be one-on-one or whether it be balls into sort of dangerous areas, they didn't look comfortable at all. This isn't the France of the 2018 World Cup where they looked really solid defensively when they needed to.
Yeah.
This team is gettable. They haven't kept a clean sheet in any game in the entire tournament, and you can see why from that game last night. As much as they offer threat in other areas, they're not defensively solid.
True. I thought Upamecano starting over Konate was a bit mental.
Crazy. He's not a good defender, plainly put. He's a good passer, but when I watch him defend, he's just. And the funny thing is, it ends up getting them a goal. His rashness and eagerness to win the ball off Saka, where he clearly fouls him, clearly kicks his right knee.
Yeah,
it ends up winning the ball and they end up scoring. But he's a defender. When you watch him, he just doesn't make the right decisions. He just sees the ball and he's trying to win it from positions where you just can't get in and win it. And there was one where Kane spun him and had a one-on-one, and then there was another one he got him behind, and if that's not a penalty, it's clearly a free kick. I mean, I just don't know how that wasn't given as a foul. I'm not quite sure what was going on in that corner of the pitch in the first half, where there were several clear fouls in front of that linesman and the referee that just weren't given sort of inexplicably at points. He was dodgy. Hernandez was dodgy, and I just regret not making more of it in open play. I think particularly because they were there to be got at.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what's next for the Euro cycle, Euro 2024?
Well, yeah, I mean,
or do
we
you
don't know whether Southgate's going to be there or not.
Do you want him to be there?
What do you think, George?
It certainly depends on the options, doesn't it? I mean, you know, do you know what? No matter what, Southgate will be looked on very fondly when we look back. Yes, obviously we've lost out, but in terms of reshaping and sort of reimagining an England team that's actually sort of in touch with society and gets on well with the media, that Southgate has done really brilliantly at, and hopefully that will continue, rather than the media out to get an England team constantly looking for scandals. So that influence hopefully will carry on. But I do think, for example, I can see Eddie Howe getting sacked from or replaced from Newcastle. If that happens, then England manager should be Eddie Howe, or someone of that ilk. But at the moment, who do you bring in?
It's tough because sort of the two you're looking at are Tuchel, who I don't know if he would take it, and I know you don't like him, but
I do like him. I do like him, and I think.
But it'd be. Do you know what's contentious? I didn't even realise this until earlier on. The Euros is in Germany, so you'd have a German manager managing England in Germany, and then sort of equally Pochettino. He's Argentinian, and there's sort of no love lost between England and Argentina, and between England and him. So it's such a difficult one because I think. With Southgate, and I think he might be thinking this, it sort of isn't a bad time maybe for him to leave it behind in terms of he's taken it to a good place, as you said. He's sort of done a lot of good things sort of on the softer side of it all. He's built a good culture, integrated some young players, and you've got sort of a young nucleus there that there's a springboard, right? If you look at future tournaments, there are a lot of players that have their best years ahead of them.
Yeah.
And it's a case of if he stays longer and actually the results don't improve, then people might look at it and go, it was a tournament too far. He should have turned it over to someone else at that point and they could have taken it on. And he's then wasted these players and their best years. So it's tough because I was sort of the attitude like, he'll scrape us into the quarters, we'll lose, and then he's got to go because he's had his opportunities. But then given what's happened, I find it hard to be that critical because I sort of look at it and think like, what could he have changed that would have made a huge difference? Maybe if you have a tactically better manager, then we win the game and you're not even thinking about it. But from what I saw and what I expected, I sort of like it wasn't like the Croatia and the Italy games where there was periods in those games where you just saw the tide turning and it got worse and worse and he just didn't do anything, didn't react, didn't stem the flow. In this game, we were sort of never under any sustained pressure. And it was just one of those we've just come out on the wrong end of it. So it's tough. But what I would say is if you're looking forwards, as I said, there's promise there. I think the difficulty with it is you only get a World Cup every 4 years and you play one bad game and you're out of the tournament. It kind of doesn't matter what you've done leading into it and building a good team. And you saw it this week. Like, look at Portugal and Brazil, how well they played in their round of 16 games. And everyone's like, they're brilliant. They're going to be really hard to beat. You play one bad match, you're out. You're gone. It doesn't matter what you've done in the tournament, how well you've played in a one-off game. I actually think you don't want the highs maybe in a World Cup to be quite as high as they were with some of those, where you're just like kind of up there and everyone sort of starts rating you so highly. And then it sort of is a come down. So I don't know, like there's promise there, Ali, but it's just so difficult to predict with international football. It's not the exponential improvement that you sort of see at club level where you can see when a team is building something.
Yeah.
Commiserations.
Thank you.
I don't know, my take on like it's disappointing that the way this World Cup will be looked at is, you won against, teams you should be winning against comfortably anyway. And then the first hurdle we faced, you're out.
Yeah,
and that will
that's
be
the
the
cynical
overarching context of
that's the cynical
the overarching
take on it.
Yeah, but contextually, I think you're like so unlucky to have lost that game. So
I'm glad he played a back four. Sorry, just before we move on, I'm glad he stuck to what he'd been doing throughout the entire tournament. Like, that was one of the things with the Italy game that really annoyed me, is he went to a back five, and it was clear that wasn't. It was literally just playing a back five out of fear for the sake of it. It wasn't even a tactical plan. It was literally just, they're a good team, let's put an extra defender on the pitch, and then they just swarmed us in midfield, dominated the ball. This one, he deserves credit for sticking to what has got us to this point and maximises some of our strengths. And I can take losing a game based on that. And I think that is an encouraging point, even in defeat.
Yeah. Although I will say about the back four, before you kind of went Saka in the middle, it did work as a back three pretty much. Do you remember when you were on Discord saying Jordan Henderson was kind of in the way of Saka? Because Henderson worked as a right wing back. Like the structure would be Walker, right center mid, and then you'd have Maguire and Stones and Shaw, and then Henderson. That would be a back five. So, like on paper, it is a back four, but Henderson doing this wing back thing did limit Mbappe, and it almost worked. So credit where it's due. I don't know. They lost the game, but another team that unpredictably perhaps lost the quarterfinal is Brazil. Winning against South Korea 4-1. That was honestly the most fun. That first half was the most fun I've ever had watching a World Cup team. Period. That includes Germany 7, the Germany 7-1 game. It was so much fun. And then that game ends and I'm like, Brazil are winning. There's no way anyone will stop Brazil. And then they lose to Croatia on penalties. And it's just weird like that. It's weird.
It's World Cup football for you.
I think the overarching theme and why France will not win the World Cup is that defense rules. If you're able of stopping, if you're capable of not allowing many chances, you will probably win. Because yes, you won't concede goals, but at the same time, you're making the opposition team really emotionally spent, because they're trying, and then they just can't break through, and that is obviously frustrating in a do or die game. So
what you're saying is it's Morocco's to lose.
Croatia, I suppose. Croatia and Morocco's to are they the favourites? Okay.
You know what, boys?
Argentina and France.
I will tell you one thing. We will do semi-final predictions right about now.
You want to do them now?
We will do them now. We'll talk about Morocco in the process, but we need to have a full house for this. I feel like Fergal's coming. Ready? Fergal! Hi, Fergal.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Sorry to keep you.
That's fine. It's fine.
So delayed.
He's very delayed. Okay. All right. We are ready to do semi-final predictions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Argentina, Croatia. I'll start with Fergal.
Argentina, Croatia. I still want Messi to do it. I just with this team, these two teams as well. I organized my sweepstake for the World Cup at work. I got Argentina and Croatia.
Oh God!
I'm getting a lot of abuse and for potentially fixing it. It was not fixing. I have screenshots to prove it.
I mean, if there's anyone to fix it, it's surely FIFA. In yours, you can't fix a sweepstake.
But everybody got the idea was that everybody got. I tiered the two teams, so everybody get a good team and a bad team.
So you put Croatia in the second tier.
With the bookies' odds, Croatia ended up being the best of the worst teams you could get.
Yeah,
I've got Argentina, one of the favorites, and Croatia.
Fantastic.
It was genuinely. If one of my work colleagues listen to it, genuinely, I've got screenshots to prove it. But tough luck. I got lucky. We'll see how it goes. But I have a guaranteed finalist basically. I was a wee bit torn with the Croatia result because I would have loved the Brazil Argentina game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been great. But at the same time, I like money, so I was happy that Croatia got through. So, but yeah, no, it was with this game, you just can't write off Croatia, and Argentina have that ability to collapse. Croatia might feel like the team that can sort of take advantage of that. I thought Argentina, like against the Netherlands, I don't know what they've done. It's like they just forgot everything that got them up to that point in the game.
It's so weird.
Forgot about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we've got two tall guys on the pitch now. Why don't we drop into the box so that they're able to hit it right on top of their head in the box now? It was so stupid, and also like they kept Messi on as well. And if you want to go defensive, you need to take him off because he's not doing the defensive duties, and it's actually better if he's off the pitch. For that, when you're trying to, if you are going to sit back like that, the actual prediction then, I'm hoping Argentina do go through. I think they will. I think Messi is actually turning up for them, like properly now.
Yeah,
he always has done it, but I feel like he has gone missing in some games for them. Like in the final that they were in, he didn't have an awful lot to do in that. But with the pass he done for the assist in the Netherlands game, like he just looks on it. Yeah. And I think they do have enough to get past Croatia. So I'm going to go for them.
Score
as well. Oh God, Ali.
Curveball.
Score. I'll go 1-0 extra time.
Oh,
interesting.
Okay, George, GC going extra time as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to go next. For me, Argentina, Croatia's like mentality, like minnows in Argentina who seem to get so emotional and crumble at every opportunity.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
To the mighty mentality of Croatia to scrape through and win on penalties, they've got big cojones, in this team. They really do. I'd say their footballing ability is significantly lower. So it's I think if it goes to extra time, Fergal, I think Croatia have to win, and will win. Like they just seem to have that sort of mental energy that keeps them through games.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Argentina will win. However, my prediction for the tournament is that they will crumble in the final. Absolutely, totally capitulate, or they'll do it in this game. But I think it will be the final. So I think they will beat Croatia. I think Messi will score in the 67th minute, 1-0.
Okay. Wow, with the minute as well. Fantastic. Yeah. All right, we'll see if
you
that.
You may as well put a bet on that, George.
Yeah,
just in case, because if that comes true, you're gonna be gutted you didn't.
Yeah. Harry, do you have quite as precise a prediction? What the score, the goal scores, the minute, please?
Do you want to know what sort of goal they'll score as well? Like,
yeah, the type of goal, what foot they used, or did they use their head or like chest? I don't know.
I think Messi scoring with a foot rather than his head is a pretty safe prediction to make.
Just leave there. I think you're safe there.
You're good.
Not much more needs to be said.
1-0 Messi with a foot. Okay, give us your prediction.
I actually think it will be 2-0 Argentina.
Oh, wow.
I think Croatia, very good midfield, like one of the best midfields in the tournament. And obviously they've got a good defense. The goalkeeper's playing well. But they don't offer enough threat up front. When you look at that Brazil game, I mean, quite extraordinary. They score a goal because they created next to nothing in the entire game, and then it's one shot and it obviously deflects and goes in. But
yeah,
it's just suicidal from Brazil. By the way, I don't know what they were doing getting caught that far up the pit with that many men committed. The last 5 minutes of extra time. And as as well as Croatia have done. just they don't have like a Mandzukic, they don't have a focal point up there anymore.
They can't do what the Netherlands did.
Yeah, but it's not just even having a big man. They just don't have a threat. Like their biggest threat is Ivan Perisic, and I think that is saying something at this point in his career. All due respect. Actually, no, he's a Spurs player. Fuck him. But yeah, I think Argentina will win 2-0. I don't think they're a fantastic team. I think they've been pretty lucky the way the draws opened up for them, given that they did lose their first group game. But I think they'll win 2-0, and I think Messi has been phenomenal, really.
I'm gonna go with the 2-0 scoreline as well, for a couple reasons. First of all, Croatia haven't kept clean sheets. Second of all, they haven't been good enough offensively. Third of all, Argentina, I think, have been one of the better teams defensively overall. Despite the Netherlands kind of decision to at their height, like they were just
it was
like,
too Weghorst.
Yeah, Weghorst was like flicking on the header with like
Argentina
no
is our
challenge.
team, isn't it? You know,
Argentina is a team of short
kings throughout the team. There, it's
brilliant.
Us.
Yeah, but I think like they score a goal at the start and then they score a goal at the end, but in the middle of that, we'll see like lots of yellow cards. And we saw the Netherlands game, so it was a record. And although, what's his name? Mateo Lahoz is the world's worst referee, in my opinion. Like, that is no exaggeration. And it is impressive that he is that in the minds of so many people that I've like seen on Twitter. He's the worst referee in the world. Do you know how bad you need to be? And yeah, that Argentina-Netherlands kind of debacle and fights and whatever was his fault, and only his fault. But Argentina can tend to get emotional and we might see a red card, but Croatia won't be able to score goals.
I thought like Argentina were like they're known for their like sort of foul play. Like they're proud of it at times. They have a word for it as well. I can't quite remember. But like the dark arts that they do appreciate them.
Yeah,
I thought that like it was like they look like apprentices of the dark arts against the Netherlands. Like they were trying to do dark arty stuff and then just giving away fouls in really dangerous situations, like the foul that gave away the goal.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's so lucky to end up winning that game. Had they lost that game, had they lost the shootout, the guy that gives the free kick away for the second guy, it's just crazy.
Who was it?
Was it?
I thought Romero was doing like really pointless stuff as well. Like I feel like he could have a red card in him just out of nowhere doing something stupid. Yeah, there's a couple of them like a couple of the younger ones are ones that haven't been in. I haven't noticed in the national team before. Like they just seem like they're trying to like do stuff that all the good Argentine teams do to get an edge over a team, but they're just not doing it right. Yeah, I hopefully they go through. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully so. Okay, the second semifinal. France against Morocco. Morocco winning against Portugal 1-0. Cristiano Ronaldo will not win a World Cup in his career. And this is a beautiful thing.
Why stop there? He won't score a World Cup knockout goal. It's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's never scored a World Cup knockout goal. He scored in 5 World Cups. None of them has been a knockout. Fergal, you're about to say something there.
Yeah, I couldn't get over how bad Portugal's records in World Cups are. I think it's the last 4. It's the first time they've got past the round of 16 in like I think 3 or 4 tournaments.
Yeah, I think since they beat England
since 2006.
2006,
like 4th place. I think they were.
Yeah,
that's true.
On that as well. I mean, if I know this is an interesting. If Messi wins this World Cup, does that? I know we're all kind of Messi rather than Ronaldo. I think here. But does that cement it? I mean, World Cup's huge, like absolutely huge.
Yeah,
because he's been a big player in this as well. It's not like like if Ronaldo had won it, like you couldn't really say, oh, it was all down to Ronaldo, and like he's a crucial cog in this Portugal team. Like, whereas if Messi does it, he is the
attack. He's everything.
The attack.
Yeah, and I feel like as well, Ronaldo is currently like just an unemployed, directionless mess.
Unemployed.
You need to give him some.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like,
he is one of the greats. Like,
I know he is. He like a club, possibly in Saudi Arabia, will pay him loads of money because he is one of the greatest players of all time. Whether I like it or not, I have my issues with the guy. Like, I don't like the person that he is. And I think the interview that he'd done with Piers Morgan, the like issues with Man United, his kind of attitude of late of like entitlement to start every single game regardless of like the circumstances.
I bet Messi is a dickhead.
You think Messi is a bit of a D?
I think people have this thing about people that are quiet, that because they don't say anything, that you assume that they're just humble and they're not. They don't want to,
We've been seeing the darker side of Messi in recent years.
Yeah, we did after the game.
After the game and in Copa America. You remember when Yeremina missed a penalty? It's like, are you gonna dance now? That was a little thing in the Copa.
He's got it in him.
He's got the dog.
So like,
he has got the
little
dog.
Little moments that you see of Messi, I think, like, and you hear, like, like he'll just give you a look if you do a wrong pass, or like, there's a pressure there playing with him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like to go for I think he'd be shy crack in a pub.
But he's still delivering. He's still delivering. This is the difference at this point in
time.
Yeah.
Well, Messi is younger. Messi is younger, but
he's employed as well. Like
he's employed.
It's not on welfare. He's not on the job.
Oh my God.
We're all actually doing better than Ronaldo. We've all got jobs.
That is certainly a take.
Well, in terms of employment status, yes.
Yeah,
we got one up.
But I don't think we have more money than Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyway,
there's your title for the podcast.
Yeah, we're doing better than Ronaldo.
Listen. By the way, on Ronaldo, I thought the camera work to follow him back to the dressing room was just impeccable. It's just like this crisp, like 4K images. Tailing him back to the dressing room.
It was like watching, that video of Putin walking to get re-elected or whatever. A really long walk. It was almost like a sort of the opposite, like a really sad version of that.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't follow him in there. The sort of length it went on. It's unbelievable.
But look, it would be remiss of us to.
The only thing on Messi, is like he's got his links to Saudi Arabia as well.
He has.
He's doing the promotion, and then he got done for tax, didn't he? He got a 2 years suspended sentence.
Yes, 2016.
He's maybe the GOAT in football, but I'm hesitant to slag off Ronaldo as being a bad person.
It's not whiter than white. I think.
Yeah, look, man. Most rich people aren't whiter than white.
Maybe Messi's smarter to not open his mouth as much, whereas Ronaldo isn't as smart to do that.
Yeah,
he's got too much of an ego.
Yeah, Ronaldo can't go to the next World Cup though because it's in the US.
Yeah. Even if he was somehow still in shape, he's not going.
I think I don't know. I should fact check this, but I think he's allowed now to go to the US. I think he is. I think I read somewhere recently that he
is. It this? When did it happen? When even? I can't even.
Yeah,
because there's probably a statute of limitations on it. We shouldn't get into talking about this, but he won't be there. He's 41.
Yeah,
he's 41.
Yeah, I done a Messi there. I just kept my mouth shut on that one.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay, but look,
I don't know about that.
It would be remiss of us, and obviously, if we talk about Portugal lost it, Cristiano Ronaldo and camera work to follow him crying in the locker room. Morocco's win is the biggest African footballing achievement, the biggest Arab and Muslim majority country, aside from Turkey in 2002, which was a dodgy World Cup. this is the biggest achievement for all of these people in the world. Like, this is a representation of 2 billion people in the globe. And I kind of wanted to get into like how Morocco did this, what it means to those that group of people, those two different groups, that Middle East, North Africa, and
Are you
Muslims.
happy? Are you happy for them?
I'm happy for Morocco. I'm happy for Morocco as if they were my country, which sounds mad, but it really is. There's something that is like I don't think most of the world would appreciate, because I think it's exclusively to this part of the world, like Africa, North Africa, and to the Middle East, is like the way we support each other. Like the way we are happy for an African team. Ghana in 2010, the entire African continent was with them. Like people, I was in Egypt at the time. People were like in the streets, in like coffee shops, in like social like clubs, and watching in big screens in mass. The like Ghana score, and it's just an like explosion, as if we scored, as if Egypt were playing against Uruguay. Really. To add to that, Morocco are an Arab country, and have a lot of like the similar values that we have. We're very close. Although we see each other as if when Egypt play another North African country, I would say especially Algeria, because we've had our recent history with them in 2010 and these events. It becomes a bit of a rivalry in ways, and we played them in the African Cup of Nations early this year. We beat them. I should feel jealous, and I do, but at the same time, this is huge. So, like the opportunity Morocco have now, and we'll get into the predictions for the semifinal. There's no reason Morocco shouldn't win the World Cup, and the amount of opportunity that would open to this part of the world is humongous. And I really hope that Morocco's success now is the first the first African team to reach the semifinal, in ultimately a World Cup that is in an Arab country. I hope that this is, take it in by the world in the right way, and that we see this opportunity as one to grow. Like, anyone, if Morocco could do it, any one of us can do it. Us as Arabian countries.
It's giving me hope. It's giving me hope. Something serious.
If Morocco do it, Ireland can do it. What I will say is, and this goes to both Egypt and the US, both of my countries, is Morocco's intentionality in what they've done and their strategy, and how they've used FIFA's financial aids, and the way they've utilized that, and the strategy of recruiting players from different countries where is possible. There's massive populations in the Netherlands or Spain where Hakim Ziyech could have, Spain approached Hakim Ziyech and he chose Morocco. And it was transformative. Hakimi ended up scoring the penalty to knock out Spain, which is just a beautiful thing. And it's disappointing at the same time, because Egypt, we're better than Morocco when it comes to African success. Egyptian clubs have won more than double the amount of African Champions Leagues that Moroccan teams have won. We have the record number of AFCONs. 8 times, I think. 7 times. Something like that. And it's come on. Why, when it comes to the World Cup and searching for breaking into global success, are we just so unintentional and defeatist? Every single World Cup qualifier, including the one that we qualified for, the end goal has always been to qualify for the World Cup. And when we qualified in 2018, nothing came out of it, because we've reached our end. That was the mentality. We've reached our end goal. We're here to have a fun time. That really was it, and it ended up in like just a catastrophic succession of controversies and failure.
On that, Ali, do you
Go
think obviously Egypt have maybe a better infrastructure at home? However, do they historically have the links with a specific country like Algeria and France, Morocco and Spain, like where sort of Ghana and sort of Nigeria with England, where unfortunately the case is, in terms of developing as a player, growing up in England and going through grassroots in England is probably you're going to produce better players than grassroots football at Egypt and Morocco. So that link, sort of Algeria's got obviously a very strong link with France, colonial, and Egypt. Although there's sort of colonial links, it's not as sort of tied as closely as communities within England and France.
No, we don't have this link, like this kind of link with other countries. The problem is, though, we have a better domestic. We had a better domestic league until 2011, when the Port Said incident happened, and Egyptian football just died off. And like there would be no fans in stadiums anymore, and just it just like it died off really. Like we won African Champions League since then.
But what I'm saying is the prospect for Fergal's Ireland team, is it really to be pinching players that are English and could potentially play for Ireland and build a core team that can defend well and scrape through games? Is that where it's for smaller nations, is that just the reality?
I think that sort of thing all depends on like how strong the culture is of wherever you are. For example, like Kevin Kilbane is an English accent, but he's as Irish as they come. Like he grew up around just like loads and loads of it was like a community of Irish, so you might as well have been in Ireland. And like I'd imagine it'd be quite similar with a lot of the diaspora from Africa, like the communities. If there's anything like if there's large groups of people moving to one country, that they'll stay together. It's usually the case one person goes over and then I can get a job for you if you want to come over as well, and the community builds from there. So like I think like I don't like seeing my measure now of do I want a player playing for Ireland is like what accent do they have? If they've got an Irish accent, I'm like over the moon. It's like brilliant. They're like fully Irish, and and then there's a few ones that like you can look into and you can see, oh no, there's actually is more to it than that. But like the likes of Declan Rice and Grealish, like I think there's a lot less going over to England and I don't know how to word this now. Like it, you have to grow up around like it has to be a strong community. That community can be not in the country you're from, but it needs to be a really strong community. And I don't think there's those pockets of like strong Irish groups as much in England, because we're more accepted now. There's no like. There was a reason why you'd stick to your own, whereas now it's a lot more cosmopolitan, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but I still always I'm always preferring like the players that have grown up in Ireland or grown up in like an Irish community, and you are properly Irish then.
You'll be getting
and Chidozie Bene, for example, he wasn't born in Ireland, so I'm not saying you have to be born in Ireland. If you come in, assimilate, and obviously the accent thing is like it can take a while to build up on any sort of accent. So if you've moved here and you're 12, maybe that's a bit too late for an Irish accent to fucking thoroughly come through. So like I'm not gonna. That's just what I look for initially. But
I was gonna say you could be getting players putting on an accent like Jerry Barton and Styles.
But why does accent matter so much to you?
I think an accent is like
an indication.
It's a big indicator. It means you've been in the country a significant amount of time, and it's had an influence on you. The surrounding environment had an influence on you that you now have like this accent. It like I that's what I would look for more than anything else. And then if you hear another accent other than Irish, and then I need to read into it and go, you know, how what is your connection? A lot of the time they're like it's mothers and fathers and whatever. Once it goes to the grannies, I'm like I've got an eye on you. I hope you're really into this for the right reasons. But yeah,
I will say this: Sofiane Amrabat, one of the players of the tournament, did his interview with the local Moroccan station. I've watched a few of those last night in English because he doesn't speak Arabic, and he's the captain, and he's the best player, like arguably, or like the most valuable.
He is the best, but he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's so good, and there's a lot of like
where
names.
Did he grow up?
I haven't looked into that. But he doesn't speak like he says like the common stuff like inshallah and like that sort of thing. He said
we all know that. I know that one.
You know that one. What does he mean? What does he mean? Or have you just heard it before somewhere?
I've heard it. Was it? If you say it to me, I will. I have heard what it means. I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah, it means God willing.
God willing. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and he doesn't speak English, and he doesn't speak Arabic. Sorry, and he's the captain of the team, and he's giving us everything. So it's an interesting thing that you say that. Obviously, different cultures, different connections, and to the world in general. But yeah, and Morocco did that. The conversation as well here in the States is why haven't we? I think the intentionality of Morocco and like going in with the mentality of we will go as far as we go and we'll take on anyone is, I think, the secret here. They haven't conceded a single goal under Walid Regragui. And that was the 7th game. They haven't conceded a single goal from an opposition player. They scored an own goal, didn't they? And that's it.
Yeah.
It's against Canada in a game they won.
Yeah.
To get into the prediction then, Morocco will win for many reasons. Because defensively they are the best team in the tournament. Like that's not a controversial take. It's the truth numerically. Despite like Pepe missing a header from 6 yards out in the last couple minutes. But the other thing is if you look at matchups, right? If they start Upamecano, and if Morocco start Youssef en-Nesyri, who wins that duel, and then on the left hand side for France, it's Theo Hernandez against Hakim Ziyech and Achraf Hakimi. So
yeah, they can give him trouble,
well.
And Mbappe's not going to help out either.
Exactly, Mbappe will get
I
down.
definitely give Morocco a better chance of winning the World Cup than Croatia.
Yeah.
And for that reason, like they're not conceding goals. Was it one goal they've conceded?
Yeah.
They've that own goal and that's it.
And they've played Belgium, Spain, and Portugal,
and
they've played good teams to get to this point.
It must have been like it's unbelievable.
And Croatia as well, who obviously are in the other semi-final.
Yeah, they drew 0-0 with that one.
It's amazing that they've beaten like their European neighbours. Like the Spain result was like it's just incredible.
Best team in Iberia, Morocco.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, and like they're just a really solid team. I can't rule them out beating France. I would expect France to have enough. I think Griezmann. If you're looking at a player that's going to break down this sort of low block, Griezmann's looking incredible, and then you can always just plant one on Giroud's head. I think at some point in that game, with Morocco being camped in, Giroud is going to have a chance like he did do against England. I think it will come down to if he can take that or not, and then so maybe what other chances are created. But it's Morocco do they could do it. I can't rule it out.
Okay, score predictions. Fergal, what do you think?
I'll go. I think 1-0 France.
Okay.
I think it'll be second half goal. I think Giroud, as I said, I think it'll be Griezmann to Giroud again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and just on Griezmann, if he plays this game, it'll be his 73rd consecutive appearance for France, which is mind-boggling.
Crazy that, isn't it?
That is mental. He's been one of the best players of the tournament, but I think he'll be shut down.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm about God's number. You hope so. What's your prediction, though?
I do, yeah. I'm similar to Fergal. I think if I go with my head, I'd probably see like a 2-0 France. Yeah. But my heart, I can see Morocco taking it, maybe to extra time, and maybe even beating them. But I think 2-0 France. 2-0 I think if I'm being realistic, I think France win it 2-0. Yeah.
Maybe the Hugo Lloris howler happens this game.
I knew it wouldn't in the England game.
One.
So
yeah, I knew they made such a big deal out of him being like the supposed. I mean, he is a weak link, but they made such a big deal out of it. I was just like, the way these things work, there's absolutely no way now that he will make a mistake that costs them. It just won't happen. Yeah, and indeed it didn't, but he might do. I can't believe how good the Morocco keeper's been. I didn't realize. So he plays for Sevilla, right?
Yes.
And we played them in a pre-season game the week before the season started. We beat them 6-0. And I'm not exaggerating here when I say I think he's one of the worst. I thought he was one of the worst goalkeepers I'd ever seen. Like, genuinely, you could make a case for him being at fault for at least 4 of the goals.
Goalkeeper of the season in La Liga in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it was the same guy.
That was a beautiful day for Bono that day when he got that.
Beautiful day. George.
I'd love to say Morocco, but I think I'm going to go France. I think Mbappe, Hakimi's a good defender, but he's more obviously attacking minded. And they may try and put Amrabat a bit more on the right hand side of the midfield three rather than centrally, but then obviously you expose you got Griezmann there as well, so it's going to be extremely tough. If it goes to penalties, then that's Morocco's best chance. But yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0 France. Mbappe, 84th minute. Why not?
There you go. He likes a specific prediction.
Yeah, and greatest France international player of all time, Olivier Giroud.
Well, he's the highest goal scorer.
Another 2 years, and then Mbappe will go past him.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm really.
I can't get over Kane. Did Kane equal Rooney's record?
He equaled it. Because when he was lining up to take the second one, they said if he scores, he obviously breaks it. And I knew he was going to miss it. As soon as I heard that, I was like, he's going to. I didn't think he put it over the bar. I was like, he's going to miss this. It's just always the way these things work. I remember he missed one against Liverpool a few years ago, and it was for his 100th Premier League goal, and they said that just before he took it, and then he put it straight up the middle.
I can't get over the. I don't know if you said it already, but I'm guessing it was a sport relief comedy skit with John Bishop and Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah. I said that.
I cannot believe the foreshadowing of that little clip. Have you seen this yet, Ali?
No, I haven't.
So Johnny Wilkinson won a World Cup in rugby for England, and he was the kicker and the fly half, and obviously in rugby you put it over the bar. So the clip is the whole joke is that Johnny Wilkinson, Harry Kane puts the ball in the back of the net in a penalty, and Johnny goes, no, that's not how you do it. You need to kick it over the bar. That's how I won the World Cup for England. Mm-hmm. Foreshadowing everything that happened. I laughed very, very hard this morning whenever I saw that clip.
Yeah, it's brilliant foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's mad how people just find this stuff so quickly. Like, it's absolutely. It's like the Weghorst goal against Argentina at the weekend. Someone had found some goal he'd scored for Wolfsburg a couple of seasons ago. It's like, how do people find this stuff so quickly? It's crazy.
I remembered that, like when they posted the clip, I was like, yeah, he did that before. It turned out it was Weghorst. It was funny. But yeah, that was one of the great goals. If they'd gone through, one of the World Cup great goals. That one, if they had,
it still is, as far as I'm concerned. That was football heritage. Yeah. Those last 15 minutes or 20 minutes with all the added time.
Yeah, 10 minutes either half. Okay, my prediction is that Morocco will win 1-0.
Nice.
Bono masterclass. I think it's going to come from the right-hand side, and I think Yusuf en-Nesyri will score another header from a Lloris mistake.
What a leap, by the way, against Portugal.
God, he jumped like as high as any NBA player I'd ever seen. Yeah, that was great. He'll score a similar goal. I think it will be like lower, and then Lloris comes out to punch it, and then he just cuts like diagonally across him and gets there first to feel like a diving header. I can see it.
There you go.
So that's me. Very quickly, because next time we meet, it will be after the World Cup final. So, given your semi-final predictions, who wins the World Cup?
France.
But yeah, France.
I think. Yeah, my head says France, but Argentina, like I still think Messi. It all comes down to just if Messi puts on a masterclass or not, and I think he could do it. But the issue is, if you look at the matchups there, Giroud against against the short Kings.
Yeah. Kings as they are.
Yeah. Then Messi is going up. Well, he drifts about, but he'd be going up against like if he sticks to sort of the right hand side. At times he'd be up against Theo Hernandez. Might get some joy there. The midfield battle would be really good. I can't get over it that Rabiot's actually been decent. I'm surprised about that. Deschamps seems to just pick these players. Like it was sort of like Matuidi before.
Yeah, Matuidi on the left wing was mad.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he just picks players that aren't in form, but he just gets something out of them and they do well. I was convinced. I was worried that England. Well, they did dominate in the game and that midfield. But I thought that Rabiot might be the weak point in that, especially. He's been really good. But yeah, I'd say I'd go. I'm gonna go Mehwa. I'm gonna go a Messi to score 2 in the final.
Nice.
And finish 3-1 Argentina.
Given
don't know who gets the other ones.
I will partly agree with Fergal. Given that I don't think France will go to the final anyway, it'll be a Morocco-Argentina final, but Messi will be too good not to win that. So he will.
Yeah. Sorry, Alan.
Argentina win the World Cup, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 2 for France, 2 for Argentina. Go on, George.
Sorry, I'm gonna go. I kept thinking you finished. I'm gonna go 0-0 in the final and Messi to miss the winning penalty.
Oh no!
He won't though. He'll take first, so he won't.
No. He'll take fifth and he'll miss it.
I don't think he will. I think they've learned the lesson from this stuff now. Which, by the way, I don't know how we've not touched on that. Absolutely crazy to have your best penalty taker last. Never understood it for the life of me.
It's like,
I always think you do need a pick.
You need a good one. We had this discussion at the Euros with Saka. Like, you do need a good one there and an experienced one.
You don't even need a good penalty taker. You need someone that can handle the pressure.
Yeah, but your best penalty taker has to take one. It's absolutely crazy that you could put it in a position where they might not take a penalty.
Yeah.
I used to like my best 4th or 5th, but now I'm like thinking maybe 3rd for the best penalty taker. But the first one is so important because it just sets the tone. It settles everybody when that first one goes in. When you see because a lot of the time it is one of the better players. If you're coming up, you see one of the better players miss the penalty first, and like that sets the bad tone. I'd be interested to hear the statistics of teams that have missed the first penalty
in this World Cup. In this World Cup, if you think about it, Japan missed their first one, Brazil missed their first one,
Spain,
just off the top of my head, Holland missed their first one, Spain missed their first one. All those teams lost the penalty shootouts.
Yeah.
So at least from a small sample size, it sort of would reflect what you're saying.
If Messi does get to the final and they go to a shootout with Morocco and Bono saves the first penalty from Messi, it would be, oh my god, I just thought of this. My days.
Yeah.
But no, a Morocco-Argentina final would be the win-win situation for me. So I perhaps went with my heart more than my mind. But I do think Morocco will win against France. See you out for the final.